Hello and welcome to Community Distance Reiki. I'm Danielle Stimpson of Learn Reiki Philadelphia, and I'm so glad to have you here with me this afternoon. If you are new here, welcome in. Feel free to click the live chat button, introduce yourself, make any requests for your personal healing, whether it's general or specific. We're going to spend the first, usually hour of our time together building a beautiful crystal grid exactly to the requests of everyone here. After that, I'm going to turn the lights down, turn the music up, and send Reiki healing to you whenever and wherever you happen to be. If you're watching this on the replay, you can always skip ahead to about the 1 hour point or where you see the lights begin to change. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back and the continued support. It's beautiful to see you. And as a reminder, it is Friday, so I will be here now at 4 p.m. and I will return at 8 p.m. and all of those times are East Coast US. So thank you for being here. Let's dive in. Okay, everybody, I've got us started out with our usual grid. We've got right now a bit of a mirror here to help reflect any not so great energy. And in the middle, we have a copper spiral. This copper helps to break up any less than great energy. It also helps to optimize the flow of energy. So we've got this to anchor us, and then we're going to start adding all of your requests in. I forgot to mention at the top, if you want to know any more about me, my live online Reiki trainings, community Discord, crystal shop, and social media, all of that's linked in the description. So yeah, I'm just so glad to be here. Let's see what all we have, and let's see who all is here. Welcome in, Sylvie. We're fun people. We're nice people. You're among really sweet people. Seriously though, Gracie, it's good to see you. Cora Carr, Susan and Greg, Jennifer Vatsa, Carla, welcome in. Natalie, good to see you. Yeah, let's start adding some love in here. So I saw some requests from Grace and Sylvie for, let's see, back and heel pain, energy and happiness, as well as knee pain and to release blockages to help your healing. Awesome. Let's start there. So back and heel pain. Release blockages. And how light. Let's do that. And Belinda, wonderful to see you too. Onyx, one of all the colors. I have black and I have green. Energy, motivation. Yeah, that's been pretty consistent for a lot of us. Energy and motivation. Awesome. Let's dive in. So, for helping to break up energy blockages and kind of remove negativity in general, I'm going to bring that in first. That's shungite for sure. This also helps with physical recovery and tissue repair. So this is going to help a lot of folks with physical aches and pains as well. But this is a stone that actually might even be in your water filter system at home. It tends to absorb things that maybe aren't great for humans out of things like water. Generally don't recommend going to a crystal store and grabbing it because they do absorb all kinds of things. And unless it's really been looked at, you don't know what it has within it. But as an energetic and spiritual healing tool, this is a great one to keep around you. It's one that helps to not only absorb negative energy that we may have absorbed from others or maybe from ourselves that we're releasing so that we're not kind of like sitting in it, but it also helps with electromagnetic smog. So if you're someone that feels really run down or really depleted around a lot of electronic equipment, this one might be really helpful for you. So that's shungite. And there'll be lots of other stones that help break up blockages too. But I like that one, and it's one we often use because it does two things really well: helping us to physically heal, helping us to release what's not serving any longer. I'm also going to bring in for grace for back and heel. I'm going to bring in some lapis. This helps with pain and inflammation. And for those of you who might be looking for, say, new colleagues or a new job or anything like that, or just career advancement, this is great for that. It helps with not only moving up the career ladder, but it helps us with being in our integrity and with sort of setting a tone and energetically requesting to work with people that also live in their integrity. It also helps with personal responsibility and disorganization. So there's lapis. And Lisa, good to see you again. Oh, I'm so glad the migraine got better. I'll grab some pink tourmaline for you. Brindley, good to see you. Awesome. I'm also going to do for knee pain. I'm going to do some howlite. Howlite is excellent for anything having to do with joints. It's also great for bones, especially bone density. If you struggle with that, that's actually a key thing that I struggle with. But yeah, bones, joints, breaks, lack of density, anything having to do with that. Also just hair and teeth as well. But it's also a great stone for anger and resentment if anyone is struggling with that. Where anger and resentment, like anger is supposed to help trigger us to make some changes and like kind of boost how we act. A lot of times it gets a little volatile and it makes us act in ways we wouldn't ordinarily. This helps us to kind of ground that anger, examine where it's coming from, and make some more proactive choices in how we handle what's causing it. So howlite for sure. It's also great for anti-frustration, like if you're waiting for some divine timing to come through or anything like that. But yeah, great for joints. Mention of migraine health, we have some pink tourmaline to come in. This also helps neuralgia, any kind of GYN issues, any kind of gynecologic issues. Pink tourmaline can be fantastic. It's great for unconditional love as well. It's a wonderful heart center stone, and it helps with muscle weakness and with breaking up if you have a negative self-image. This is one that can really help you break that up so that you can start to see yourself in a slightly different way. So pink tourmaline. There we go. I'm so glad you all are here. And energy. Energy will bring in rutilated quartz. This really helps with breaking up blockages too, to some extent, but it's really incredible with focusing. So if you want to have more focus while you're doing homework, studying, researching, whatever you might be doing, excellent. But it also helps to focus healing energy. And in that regard, it's often seen as a beautiful gift for people who are dealing with cancer. It's thought to help focus the healing exactly where it needs to go. And in that, I want to support Korakar's stepfather. But it also helps to energize us. So whether we're getting over an illness or we're trying to keep ourselves from getting too run down, this can be a really good one. So focus and energy. We'll bring in that rutilated quartz. And Vincent, hi. Good to see you. Let's see. I did see a request from Jennifer around moving on from toxic people, being chill and happy, building community, in addition to Grace's request for happiness. And I thought, oh, there's a great stone that kind of covers both, and it's honey calcite. Honey calcite is a stone that really helps with the the connection between the solar plexus chakra, which is our self, our center of self, our will, our desires, our goals, and the sacral, which is how we relate to others, relationships relating to community and creativity and other stuff too. This helps with both of those areas. It's great for optimism, even in the most challenging of times. And it also helps with attracting good colleagues, friends, community members, neighbors, whomever you want in your circle that is a little bit more on the same wavelength, community-wise and individually. So this is a great one. Lapis too, with attracting colleagues specifically, but this one is a little bit more broad than that. So I'm going to bring this in. It's definitely a really happy stone, but it also helps with attracting people who are kind of on our own wavelength of improvement and trying to be the best we can. So we'll definitely do that, and we'll probably think of a few more community based stones as we go too. Let's see. Korakar, Greg and Susan, absolutely. Understanding and applying spiritual knowledge. Return of cat and wholeness. Improving painting, writing, illustration. Let's see. Release fears and negativity. Abundance and wealth. Love it. Released a bunch of stuff holding me back and feel so much relief. Nice. I'm so glad, Jennifer. I know. Isn't it so good when it's just like, oh, I feel like I've needed to do that for a while and finally done? Yeah. So let's see. I'm just taking in everyone's requests. Hey, Patty, hope you're well. Connecting with people for your highest good, energy, motivation. Okay, so let me start diving in, because there's, as usual, for those of you who are new, and definitely welcome new folks, one of the concepts at the core of any kind of community healing is that of communal chi. We see that in Chinese medicine, but in every other culture as well, in its own perspective. And generally, it's thought the more people come together with the same or similar intention, the greater the energy potential for everyone is magnified. And we've definitely found here, and everybody can corroborate this, that we often will, when we really break it down to the very general nature of things, we might all be going through very different circumstances, but the themes around what we're requesting support on are often really harmonious. And so I try to look through, and there's so much commonality. There's so many common threads that go through so many of the requests. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some stones that help support all of us in the ways that we're seeing this come through. Definitely. Yeah, people for your highest good. Definitely honey calcite. Let's see. I love chrysocolla for a couple of reasons here. Korakar requested help with some creativity, which will definitely bring in some carnelian, which will also help with relationships, which we're all requesting too. Chrysocolla is great for making decisions that are in alignment with our highest good and any spiritual goals we may have. It's great for encouraging you to continue going on your spiritual path and move along in a direction that's most aligned with you, as well as finding new creative outlets. For some folks, that's journaling. For some, it's drawing. For some, it's painting. Whatever it might be to you, whether it's jewelry making or writing music, this can really help. So yeah, so we'll bring this in. I feel like this complements a lot of the requests. And I love chrysocolla. It's such a loving stone. We'll start with them there and see where they go. Carnelian, as I mentioned, is helpful for relationships of all kinds, romantic and otherwise, even, work environments, things like that. It also helps to break up apathy and laziness. So if you're looking for that kind of motivation and you feel really stuck, this can help. It helps with creativity, really anything having to do with the sacral chakra, creativity, sexuality, sexual function, dysfunction, fertility, but also connecting with the kind of the primal side of creation. So creativeness, whether it's creating a new business plan, creating a new painting, whatever it might be, this can be really great. It also helps with colds, allergies, and healing wounds. So there's a lot that carnelian does. It's a beautiful orange stone. Bring that in. I feel like that's really harmonious to a lot of requests. For the onyxes, black onyx is helpful for protection, as well as moving through grief, endings and beginnings, and connecting with our ancestors. It's a very wise stone, and it's a very grounding stone. If you're going through any kind of grief, there's a lot of different stones that can work in different ways because that's such a multifaceted cycle of healing when we work through grief. This one is very consistent, very grounding. It helps us to feel connected to ancestors and those on the other side. So that's black onyx. And green onyx, because onyx comes in tons of colors. Green onyx usually comes in like a pistachio kind of color, like a light green. The stuff that I have was mined a long time ago, and so it is more of like the rich, bright kind of green. This one is superb for any kind of grief and sadness, any kind of letting go, whether it's letting go of a person or a cherished pet, or if it's letting go of a situation or a version of yourself. It can bring up all of that sadness. It's also great for even if you're a little bit on the lonely side, this can be really helpful. It helps us to also make decisions that are in alignment with our highest good. Very much helps chrysocolla in that way. But this is really an exceptional stone for really heavy emotional stuff. When we feel like we have to move on, but we feel frozen in that grief, this is one of the stones that can be really helpful. It helps us to basically transcend emotional shutdown. It helps us to heal within that and start to move forward. So green onyx. It's good for just a little bit of loneliness all the way up to complete emotional paralysis, everything in between. Awesome. Oh, Natalie, I'm so glad you love the channel. Oh, okay. You're staying positive. Thanks for the tarot astrology episodes too. You're welcome. I'm still going on those. I'll continue going through this weekend. I'm teaching a Reiki 2 this weekend, but I'm going to get them done. I promise I'll get through them. Transitioning, including energy. Yeah, it's impressive how aligned we tend to be. We have so much more in common than we think. Let's see. Heart health and vertigo. Gotcha. Helpful for vertigo is actually lapis. Very helpful for vertigo. Also for hearing loss too. Let's see. Connecting with people for your highest good. Let's bring in some Herkimer. I've been using that for you guys for a bit. Herkimer helps with definitely anytime we're manifesting or asking the universe for something. Herkimer helps to add the caveat of the best version of whatever we're asking for, that and may it impact everyone that this request touches in a positive way. So if you're asking for the best people, things like lapis and honey calcite can be really helpful. But if you're asking for specific people or people to show up in a specific role or to serve a particular function, like if you're manifesting a good attorney, accountant, caterer, cleaning person, childcare person. This is a really good stone. It also helps us to be in the present moment, which is so important when we're thinking about our next steps and asking the universe for stuff, because it helps us appreciate where we are rather than just constantly wishing our life away. And it also helps to balance energies that seem a little bit out of sync. So it's great for group environments in that regard. It also helps balance metabolism, and it can help intuition. So hopefully when you start to get closer to that thing that you've been asking the universe for, your intuition will go, hey, it's right there. So love Herkimer for that. Understanding and applying spiritual knowledge is definitely Prehnite. This is all kinds of spiritual teaching, spiritual learning. Also helps with, I know I saw your request for help with psychopomp, and this aids with lucid dreaming, prophecy, visual divination of all kinds. This is Prehnite. Also thought to be helpful for gout and the kidneys, if anyone's struggling with anything there, as well as saying no when you need to say no, especially when it's really hard to say no, if it's something you can't do. So Prehnite for sure. So we'll bring that in. For return of cat and wholeness, let's see. Jet is a good one for grief as well. It's fossilized wood, but particularly wood that's been fossilized through intense high heat, like a volcano. Sometimes a very, very hot forest fire. Forest fires seldom get that hot, but they do sometimes. And it's wood that's been fossilized quickly through destruction. It's superb for grief. It lets us to be with our grief without kind of numbing out to it or being just so overwhelmed we can't move. And that helps us to kind of move through and heal at our own pace. It's also thought to help call upon lost animals. So if you have a missing animal or pet, this is a great stone. So this is jet. Let's put that here and here for now. Wealth blessings, weight loss. Let's do some wealth blessings for everyone. There were a lot of those. Let's start with some citrine and some pyrite. Pyrite can definitely call upon the real gold for sure, as it is fool's gold. It also is thought to help the body make the most of a Reiki session. It's great for warding off fever and trying to bring down a fever. It's thought to aid memory. It definitely helps with intuition as well as protection when we're doing any kind of divination or card reading or anything like that. So it's a really, really beautiful stone. It does quite a bit. It's also linked to radiation treatments too, if anyone's going through that. There we go. So that's pyrite. Citrine is another stone very linked with financial abundance. It is an orangey brown, brownish orange kind of color naturally. And it is one that can help call upon abundance in any number of ways. But oftentimes this is seen as a more modern way of being a merchant stone. The other merchant stone being cinnabar, which is actually mercury, which I have some. But this is used more in more modern times now that we know how dangerous mercury is. Citrine is one that if you do like the Western interpretation of feng shui, you can put it in the back left corner of a room or business from the entrance. Like if your back is to the entrance and you've walked in the room, the back left corner. You can also put a small piece in your wallet, in your cash box, anywhere you associate with money. So there's citrine. There we go. And I'm going to bring in some cinnabar. So cinnabar, like I said, is mercury ore, so it is pretty toxic. And these little red pieces here, that's actually what the cinnabar is. The red is just, the white is just clear crystal, and the black is some other surrounding rock. This is, if you order it online, this is more like a piece you're likely to get. Only the red is truly cinnabar, but again, it's pretty toxic. So this gives us, how much do you need to work with it spiritually? Not a ton. But this has been classically considered the merchant stone. It was sacred in China. It's been sacred in the West. It's thought to help attract customers to any business, buyers to anyone who's selling. So we'll go ahead and we'll put this in here too with the intention that it help anyone that is calling on some customers. Let's see. Yay. Yeah, green onyx is amazing, and I'll have it on the website soon. These particular pieces that I have here, for a while, my brick and mortar business was located on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. And there was a gentleman who was getting ready to retire and selling off a lot of his older stone stock and stuff. And there was a time in the 70s and 80s when scarab bracelets and necklaces and things were the hot thing. And like any trend, eventually they move, and then you have all of these carved stones, and where do they go? So they had been sitting around, and I had said, I love smaller stones. This would be great. And so I actually worked with him in trade and got a ton, and he brought me a ton of these beautiful green onyx. So I have a ton of them. So I'm more than happy to share with all of you. So I will definitely be adding those to the website soon. It is a really awesome stone, and they're so pretty. And it's hard to find them that color green anymore. It's been mostly mined out. So let's enjoy them while they're here. Absolutely. I'll let you all know when it's up. And then it'll be super affordable because I have so much of it. And it's so helpful. Let's see. Emerald I was thinking of for Patty too. So definitely bring out some. Oh, and it was Patty that requested it. Even better. Okay. So emerald, epidote, petrified wood. We have that over there. Tree agate, red tiger eye, celestite. Sapphire. We have lapis. And Jen had a couple that she requested. The Murrian quartz, rose quartz, red coral, red tiger eye, black tourmaline. Rose quartz, black tourmaline, and petrified wood. There we go. Okay. So let's bring in some emerald. This one helps with healing skin and tissue, but also reviving a passion for life or any part of your life. If you feel like you've been kind of stuck in a rut, or it's hard to kind of get excited and motivated about things, this can really help. It's also great for bringing about success and for feeling better about our appearance. And this is some raw emerald. There we go. Rose quartz helps us to let go of what's no longer serving in that it reminds us, hey, Allison, good to see you. Gotcha, I can help you with that. Yeah, so it helps us to let go of less than amazing energy because it's very consistent in its unconditional love. This helps to remind us that if we let go of something that doesn't feel good, it's not necessarily an invitation for something worse to come in. So in that regard, it's very uplifting and consistent, allowing us to feel like, wow, there's another force in the universe that I can rely on. So rose quartz. Tree agate, and I'll show you what it looks like both raw and tumbled because it can look quite different. Tree agate helps, it's really sacred in Chinese medicine. It's one that's thought to help, actually no, I'm sorry. It's really sacred in Ayurveda, the sister science to yoga. It's thought to help clear the nadi, or the energy pathways throughout the body, getting them to function better and really optimally. So this is thought to be helpful for everyone, regardless of their body type or where their energy is at. It's thought to be just a great balancer of energy within the body. So help support healing. So for now, we will bring in this piece. Let's also bring in, yeah, here we go. This is petrified wood. Petrified wood, much like we discussed with jet, petrified wood in this regard, the kind that has taken its time to turn to fossilized wood, it reminds us of the concept of death and renewal, that things have to end one way to begin another way. It began its life as a living tree, and it had to die as a living tree to be transformed into a stone where it is now. And in this particular specimen, there are, let me see if I can really show you without showing you how bad my thumb looks. Let's see. There we go. We can see a little sparkle in the middle of that specimen. Yes, we can. Those are fresh new clear quartz crystals starting to form on this. So it's a really beautiful, like, death and rebirth kind of energy. Absolutely love it. So we will bring that in. For now, we will bring it in here. We'll see where it ends up. Lemurian quartz helps with any kind of past healing. So whether it's past life or earlier in this life, like childhood, it can be really, really helpful. Any kind of spiritual healing or work you're doing on yourself, this can be really supportive. It helps with also, as we're doing any kind of spiritual work, getting to know ourselves better. This was a beautiful gift from Vincent and Cora Carr, so thank you so much for gifting these to the stream. Absolutely love it and love thinking about you every time I work with it. This helps us to also release that past emotional pain. So it's like we can access the original trauma if we want to without reliving it and release the associated pain. So we'll go ahead and we'll put some Lemurian quartz on the rose quartz. Black tourmaline can be really helpful, much like in a similar vein, slightly different to the shungite that we used. Black tourmaline helps to repel less than great energy, helping us to clear space, clear ourselves, keep the energy of others away, especially if you are someone who's empathic and you sort of sense and take on other energies without necessarily realizing it. This can be a really, really helpful stone. So let's go ahead and place some here. I like to put this around the circle rather than in it. Celestite helps to connect with our spirit guides, particularly our angels. It's a very angelic stone. It's another one that can help with pain, but it also helps with discerning thoughts and fears. And I definitely saw fears in there. But yeah, this helps us to tell the difference between when we're afraid and when it's logic saying, hey, watch out for that. So sometimes it's really hard to tell. I know I'm not alone in that. This also can help with hearing your angel's guidance a little more clearly, which can help connect you with your soul's purpose much better. If you work with integrated energy therapy, which is an angelic form of energy healing that I work with alongside Reiki, this can be a wonderful tool to have with your clients as well. So celestite. Red tiger eye is probably the most protective stone I have. Absolutely love working with red tiger eye. So it helps with protecting against the mundane, like bullying, and it helps protection spiritually against things like psychic attack or really malevolent energy work, like stuff that isn't Reiki and is intended to cause harm. Super protective. It's great too for if you need to manifest financial resources in a hurry. But yeah, this definitely helps with especially work environments, like whether you're being triangulated, whether you're being gaslit, if there's a lot of sexism around, this can be a really great stone for any and all of those particular scenarios. And it's very much like golden tiger eye, except that underground it was nearest iron, so it turned more red. Sapphire aids in channeling, in hearing what spirit has to say in the connection to spirit, but also with being able to almost translate it if you're asking questions on behalf of someone else. So if you're a channel medium or you read cards and you're thinking, how do I best explain what I'm getting for other people? This is a superb stone. I actually keep this nearby when I do the tarot for all 12 signs with the intention that it helped me not only intensify the connection, but really find the best way of explaining something that can be so general in a sense. So yeah, sapphire. And it naturally grows in this shape. This is how it naturally forms. It's so fascinating. Epidote is a stone I often use for like the curbing the negative self-talk. It can be really helpful for that. It's also great for recovery from illness and injury, which I know a few of you are in that category. Helps with connection to the fairy realm, connected with the nervous system, the skin, the brain, and is often linked with supporting folks who have things like Parkinson's. So this is epidote. It looks very similar to Unakite, and I believe epidote is in Unakite. So yeah, this is epidote. There we go. And controlling impulses. Gotcha. know I have a good one for impulses. It's just have to peek through. definitely want to bring in peridot for that, and other things too. Peridot is thought to help with breaking kind of the negative cycles we repeat. Helps to break that up. It aids friendships with people who have the same qualities that support the greater things about ourselves, which I think supports a lot of the requests we had today. It also aids with things like curbing weight gain, as well as supporting folks with depression and anything having to do with anger and jealousy. But this can help with not so great patterns. So I'm going to bring these in. I like to just sprinkle them around the center because they're so pretty. Which one is for clairaudience? Clairaudience is snowflake obsidian. Sapphire is great for any kind of spiritual connection, whether it's clairvoyance, clairaudience, however you connect. Hey, good to see you, Chris. Awesome. We have a lot of the stones you usually request out, but not all of them. Snowflake obsidian definitely helps with clairaudience, which is hearing intuitive guidance, but like literally hearing it. It also helps with organizing and really recognizing patterns and kind of restructuring ourselves to not do the same old things. It aids with guilt and overstimulation, and it also helps with mind-body balance and just serenity and peace of mind. So we're going to bring in some snowflake obsidian. For grounding impulses, sodalite. This is also great for creativity, writing, and speaking. So this will definitely support Korakar's request as well. This helps with expression and communication in all regards. I usually suggest this to people who are very, very impacted by things like when Mercury is in retrograde. If they find it really difficult to be understood, this can be a great stone. But it's also great for homesickness and, like I said, grounding impulses. So, sodalite. Let's see, where shall we place you? Let's do... Yeah, let's do this. So, sodalite. And... oh, good. We can definitely squeeze in a lot of what Chris requested. Absolutely. And we super need some hematite. Good call. I'm also going to bring in some zoisite. It really is just jumping out at me. This is great for kind of apathy and sluggishness. And I know a lot of us are struggling with like wanting to feel motivated. This is zoisite. So this is thought to aid with fertility as well, but it aids with releasing negativity. It supports folks that feel disconnected from nature. So if you have to be away from nature for a while, like if you're in a hospital or something, you just feel like so clinical and you want to feel closer to nature, this can help. Can also help those with seasonal affective disorder for much the same reason. But it also helps you to face challenges and setbacks head on, especially if you're procrastinating or sort of avoiding it. And yeah, can really help that. It can really help all of those things. And I feel like it could be helpful. So let's bring in, I'm going to bring this in opposite here. Okay. So that's zoisite. Integration after a lifetime of dissociating as a defense. Oh man, with you on that. With you on that. Yeah, I dissociate like almost as like a knee jerk. I don't even know when I'm doing it most of the time. Yeah, I struggle with complex PTSD too. Or I don't know if that's what you struggle with, but that's how it shows up for me. And your sister's site. Let's do as far as staying like centered and not dissociating. For something I struggle with so much, I don't know that I know the best stone for it, and I might actually have to research that. So thank you for bringing that in. I'll think about it though. I may think of something before we move into the sending of the Reiki. For eye health, Aventurine. This also helps with heart rhythms, eye problems, fertility, and with expanding our own vision of our own potential. So there's ways where we can stand in our own way when we're asking for like new opportunities. This helps us to heal any feelings of not good enough and start to expect something better and be able to see something better for ourselves. So green Aventurine. Blue kyanite. This helps with understanding spiritual guidance as well as self-acceptance, loving yourself exactly as you are, which can really empower a self-healing journey so much. It's also great for neurological care. It's thought to be helpful for folks that are recovering from stroke, especially if it's impacted speech and or mobility. So that's blue kyanite. Anything that helps transitions. I was thinking of smoky quartz. Smoky quartz helps to transmute energy really, really well. I often keep it around physical spaces where I'm teaching or practicing. I have a huge piece of it behind me for the same reason. Smoky quartz can come in a very deep, almost black, all the way up to this lighter, like almost clear quartz-like. It's also really protective, especially of theft. Back into the Middle Ages, this was used to ward off thieves and protect your home and your possessions. It's very protective. There we go. Oh yeah, no worries, Brinley. I'll look into it. I'm diagnosed with PTSD. See, PTSD isn't a medical diagnosis. It's more like a psychological understanding of like, yeah, we could go on a whole tangent about it, but yeah, that's something I've struggled with for sure. Let's see. Let's definitely bring in some aqua aura, as that can help with, this is one that I've really felt to help with depression. Depression is something I struggle with too, and I am so not a med shamer at all. Use all the things that work for you. You are the, as I like to say, you're the boss of your own underpants. I find that meds absolutely help me. Crystals absolutely help me. Reiki absolutely helps me. Use all the things you can. And this is something that a lot of us here have found helpful for depression. It's called Aqua Aura. It was a clear quartz crystal. It is a clear quartz crystal, and it was processed using gold. And it came up this beautiful blue. So this is definitely a man-altered blue. It did not leave the earth looking like this. It's also thought to be great for things like seasonal affective disorder. And yeah, there's not a lot written about it because not a lot of people have worked with it. It's fairly new. It's not existed very long. And a lot of folks don't really want to work with stones that have been altered, which I get. But I'm going to bring this in because I feel like that can definitely help what Brindley and I were mentioning. So there we go. Aragonite with Caribbean blue calcite. So aragonite is the brownish in these stones. These stones tend to balance the full spectrum of your energy body. So aragonite is connected with your root chakra and your earth star chakra. Earth star chakra is beneath your root chakra, and that's where we can like put our legs under us and start enacting our soul's purpose and feel like, yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to do it. The Caribbean blue calcite, conversely, is linked with our crown and our soul star chakra, which is above the crown. And that's like our spiritual North Star. That's the part of us that just sort of knows that we're supposed to introduce ourselves to that person and kind of knows what we're supposed to do, even if it seems like a million miles away, that vision we have of our own potential. And so by balancing both, it balances everything between, including the Kundalini energy that lays dormant at the base of the spine. This is a great one if you want to kind of know what you're supposed to line up with spiritually and walk the walk. It can be a great stone. If you buy it online, you may notice that a lot of the specimens being mined are not quite so translucent as mine. They're a little bit more opaque, and the blue would be more like a... There we go. The blue would be a little bit more like a light, bright blue. Yeah, let's do that. So if it looks different when you're purchasing it online, that's not surprising. There we go. Let's see what else. Moonstone. We have pyrite, we have carnelian, we have rose quartz, we have sapphire blue kyanite, aqua aura, we have herkimer, we have rutilated, we have peridot, we do not have iolite. Let's do some hematite and some moonstone. Hematite is very, very grounding. You can even hear it. Very, very heavy. There's a large concentration of iron in this stone, which is why it's so heavy. This is thought to help clear and purify the energy, particularly the physical energy. It helps us to connect with the earth and release the energy of our physical bodies that wants to release. In Chinese and Japanese, really Southeast Asian, but especially Chinese and Japanese energy theories, we see that the energy we no longer need, the physical energy we no longer need, exits out the feet. And this is thought to help clear the channels and connect to the earth so that we can release that energy to be transmuted. It deeply connects us to our physical body as well. So if you've been doing a lot of meditating or spiritual work and you're finding it difficult to do like mundane things, or to like keep track of things, the term ungrounded in the spiritual aspect may apply. So this can be a very helpful stone there. So let's go ahead and put some of this around. And moonstone helps with connection to the cycles of nature. Any kind of moon magic or moon cycle work you might be doing can super be amplified by this. It's a beautiful stone in that regard. It's also helpful for connection to the divine feminine, to ancient wisdom if you're studying any older spiritual arts or intuitive arts. It's helpful for protection during travel, connection to intuition, and attracting a spiritual soulmate, which actually carnelian is as well. This can also help with connection and trust of divine timing. So we'll bring this in as well. And then I wanted to bring in one that I forgot for Jen, which is red coral. So let's go ahead and bring in this moonstone. I'm going to put it under the black onyx. Okay. And red coral is highly protective of women. So this is what red coral looks like. You can see it's really funky looking stone. And I actually have this beautiful necklace that was gifted to me by a friend's mother that also has black coral in it. So red coral protects especially women, anti-misogyny. This shows up anywhere that a woman is being disregarded, admonished, relegated, kept out of the conversation, being circumvented, or otherwise disenfranchised in general. It can also help with not only boosting her voice, but breaking up kind of that old boys club kind of clique. The black coral is highly protective in general. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this around. The bottom of the grid, and I feel like that just like puts a really beautiful foundation on the grid. This is a stone to be careful with when you source it, because coral, depending on when and where it came from, it may have actually damaged a coral reef to harvest it. A lot of times though, these are from either reefs that have already died or they have broken off and washed up. Like a lot of times, like this is white coral, and my grandmother and I found this on a beach in Florida after a storm. It's totally naturally appeared. And that happens with a lot. Like you can almost drag a beach after a storm and pick up lots of pieces. There's been a lot more laws by a lot more countries in the recent couple of decades to stop touching the coral reefs. So that's really helped. That's why coral might be more expensive to find. And that's why you might also find smaller pieces too. But yeah, so let's take a peek, make sure I didn't miss anything. I feel like for the coping mechanism for Brindley, what we were talking about, the Lemurian quartz, the blue mist Lemurian quartz can be really helpful. That helps with healing the past. And including childhood stuff, so that can be really helpful. As well as, I think, let's see. Yeah. That'll help somewhat. So let's go ahead and transition into the healing. Yeah, I think we're good. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to do that thing that I do. You know what? Yeah. Let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to suggest a couple of stones that I think can really support a lot of the requests that were made today. You all are going to vote on them while I quickly explain what Reiki is, and then we're going to transition into the healing. So my two specimens for today are white coral, because we were just talking about it, but white coral helps with supporting us to accept our soul's purpose and that spiritual alignment with it, like the soul star that we were talking about that's connected with the crown chakra. This helps to trust and follow along with our path without getting distracted. So awesome. We have that. The other choice is Lepidolite. This helps us to understand our emotions and be a little bit more proactive in working with them, and it also can tend to stabilize emotions. Lepidolite is actually lithium. It's lithium mica, and it's used as a mental health medication, and it has been for quite a long time. I'm not suggesting that you go and put it in water and drink it, because it does have a lot of physiological impact on the body beyond just the mind. But this one might actually be helpful for Brindley as well. For those of you who are new here, know that you are not limited to voting for just one stone. And pretty quickly you'll see what I mean when you look into the chat. Oh yeah, and chevron amethyst. I'm going to add in chevron amethyst because it aids with spiritual connection, shamanic journey work, hearing our guides, and sending out messages to our guides. It also aids in anything that's degenerative on a physical level, and it helps to encourage tolerance of others too. So that is chevron amethyst. So go ahead and vote for either one, or, take Patty's, suggestion there. Let's see, I'll put this. That's chevron amethyst. There we go. Both, all, yeah, we're all catching on. So I'm going to quickly explain what Reiki is, and then we're going to go ahead over to the healing side of things. So if you haven't already liked the stream, please consider doing so. It helps more people find me. It helps the channel grow. I super appreciate it. And I'm just going to, talk a little bit. If you need to hit the loo before we relax for half an hour and just suck up the healing vibes, now's a good time to do that as well. So as I mentioned at the top of the stream, my name is Danielle Stimpson. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm a practitioner of Usui Reiki, and I teach online Reiki certification courses. I also do one-on-one sessions and readings. You can learn more about that on my website, learnreikiphiladelphia.com, which is linked in the description. And yeah, what is Usui Reiki? Well, this particular method of working with this energy was created by Mikao Usui in the early 1920s in Japan. It's a very modern take on an ancient energy principle. Basically, the energy itself, we can best describe it through the Shinto perspective, which is the indigenous spirituality of Japan, in which everything has a soul and everything is interconnected. Within that interconnection, there's additional forces at play, one of which is a spiritually guided soul or life energy, which is what Reiki translates to. So this practice of working with this energy is, while Usui's method is a fairly new one, it's a deeply spiritual yet secular take on relating to this energy and applying it for our greatest healing good. The concept is that everyone has access to this energy. It's flowing through you right now, and your body, mind, and spirit work with it all the time to support your greatest well-being. And at any point in time, we can work with it intentionally and kind of, in a way, intensify its impact on us. And essentially, that's what I'll be doing today. I'll be connecting with that energy and directing more of it to you, supporting your body, mind, and spirit to do what it's already doing, even better and a little bit more. At any point in time, you can make any intention for your greater healing good. You can just think about it and the universe will hear it and support it. You can do that at any point during this session. During the session, you don't need to do anything. I suggest you get into the most comfortable position you can, whether it's sitting up, laying down, a little bit of both. You can move around, take some stretches if you want to. You can simply close your eyes and relax, maybe even fall asleep. That's great. If you have anything coming to mind, it might actually be helpful to just sort of let it play out. You don't have to keep your mind silent. You don't have to focus on anything. And because Reiki supports our physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental well-being, we may feel some sensations in our physical body. We may feel some emotions rising up or being released. Mentally, we may have a chance to hear our subconscious or even like mentally parse some things out that we've been working on for a while. So you might be able to think some things through. And on a spiritual level, you may feel a sudden burst of intuition or just like a really big breakthrough or realization. Whatever the case might be, just enjoy and allow things to flow. If you're not sure if your mind is racing or if it's like helpful to think things through, take a deep breath in and out. And if it keeps coming back, let it tell you what it has to share. At the end of the 25-minute session, you'll hear my voice come back in. I'll invite you to take a deep breath. And at that point, you can start coming back into the room and your body if you feel you want to. I will then reopen the chat so you can ask any questions, share any experiences, and I'll be more than happy to help with you at that time. During the session, I'm going to turn the lights down and they'll move slowly and gently through many different colors, but at no point will they flash or strobe. And the music that you hear was created by a beautiful content creator here on YouTube, and I've been able to purchase the rights to play it here. If you'd like to hear more of her music, go ahead and look at the bottom of the description below. There's a link to her YouTube channel, and it's the Relaxation Works. So thank you everyone for being here. It's an honor and a privilege always to share Reiki with all of you. This started as just something on Zoom during the lockdowns for me to have some semblance of a schedule and feel like I was able to serve the public. And we've grown into, I haven't even been on YouTube a year and we're closing in on 700 subscribers, which is just wild to me. So thank you all for your inspiration and your continued support. And let's go ahead over and enjoy some lovely, beautiful Reiki healing vibes. Both. Yep, we all got we all got the hint. We're all gonna do both. So let's go ahead and bring in the Lepidolite and the white coral. Everybody's just falling all around. Awesome. I think we're in good shape. It's a beautiful grid as always. Thank you all so much for helping me build it. Also, I forgot to mention, those of you who might be watching this on the replay, or those of you who are here now who might want some Reiki in the future and maybe I'm not live, Reiki reaches you regardless of where you are because of that interconnectedness of everyone and everything. It also doesn't matter when you are. So if you're watching this in the past or watching this in the future, hello from the past. If you are here now and you do want a healing and I'm not live, you can always go back to our playlist of past. Just pick one by the thumbnail with the picture of the grid. You'll kind of like let your heart know which one you want to connect with, and you can either watch and hang out for the crystal explanation or just zip right ahead to the healing and enjoy what you need that day. So thank you again so much for being here. It's an honor and a privilege to share this healing with all of you. Go ahead and get cozy, move around all you need. If you need a blanket, get up and get it and just come right back. I'm gonna go ahead and start the session, and I'll see you all in 25 minutes. I invite you now to take a deep breath in and out. Slowly start coming back to your body. If you feel you need to move or bend or wiggle your fingers and toes, you certainly may. And if you have any questions or anything to share, the chat is reopen. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for some healing. I know I feel better, and I hope you do too. And as a reminder, I will be back at 8 p.m. this evening and 8 p.m. on Sunday. Thank you, Chris. And you're welcome. And you're welcome, Jen. Oh, we have a visitor. Oh, hello. You're late to the Reiki show. We have a little Gertie. Yeah, you want to say hi? You're so welcome. No, the big purrs. You're so welcome, Lisa. Yeah, you want to say hi? Yeah. And that's Gertie. Hi, W. Good to see you. Oh, thank you. Same to you, Patty. Same to you and Key as well. You're welcome, Lisa. And you're welcome, Carla. I'm here 5 times a week, same days, same times. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Fridays at 4 and 8 p.m. Sundays at 8 p.m. And all of that is East Coast US time, which we do go into our seasonal time change on the 16th of this month, by the way. And yes, Korokar reminding me to remind you to like and subscribe and to share and all that good stuff because it helps the channel grow. Yeah, little kitties. Oh. Yes, I hope everyone has a beautiful weekend filled with love and excitement and peace. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to draw the stream to a close with an abundance of gratitude for all of you. Take care. Be well. I hope to see you again soon, and bye for now.